Welcome to another edition of Soulfire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Love Light. Raven is an aura, past life regression, and clinical hypnotherapist, a quantum galactic Akashic reader, raw Reiki angelic alchemy healing practitioner, and Yushui Reiki master. Raven also offers one-on-one spiritual consultations. Book your free 15-minute discovery Zoom call with Raven at ravenshealingarts.com. Lisa is an aura practitioner, raw Reiki quantum galactic Akashic reader, Yushui Reiki master, and offers one-on-one soul coaching sessions. For questions or booking sessions, you can message her at sacredheartquantumhealing.com or at myabundanceflows247@aol.com. You can watch Soulfire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble. You can also listen to Soulfire Ascension on Spotify. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And we hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to another edition of Soulfire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Love Light. And we have a special guest for you today. We're going to call him Yamin, but let's introduce him with his video. Soulfire Ascension welcomes He Yamin Neshama. Yamin is a practitioner of magic who spent many years in study of energy work, spirituality, and the occult. He is an initiated witch and teacher of the energetic workings, leading people in learning their latent abilities hidden within their subtle bodies. He's been practicing energy work since he was the age of 19. The purpose of this is simple. When he opened his heart chakra for the first time, when he was 19, and the energy rippled out through his entire body, like a stone being thrown into a still pond, he realized something. We aren't meant to find God here in the same way that religion teaches us, but God in ourselves. It's about knowing you are more than you could ever imagine, more than we are taught we are. It's not that you can become it, but that you already are capable of it. His book, titled Not Your Cult's Energy Work, teaches you what you need to know to get started, to deepen your study in the craft of energy work. It's available on Amazon. He has a YouTube channel with exercises. He's also releasing full online courses on his website at HeYamin.Neshama.com, with many more books to come in the future on energy work and the magical practice. Live July 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you missed the live show, you can catch the replay on YouTube and on Rumble at Soulfire Ascension, or listen to Soulfire Ascension on Spotify. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Nice, very nice.
Yes.
And I like the part about finding source or God within, because that's, I don't know about anybody else, but that's how I feel too.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Yam. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much for having me, both of you. I'm very grateful to be a part of this.
And we are grateful that you joined us.
Lisa.
Yes, and me and Yamin, we met each other, I want to say it was 2019, 2020 time frame, before COVID, the BC.
Yeah, and right before COVID.
And so, and when I checked in with you a couple months ago, you told me that you had a book. Oh my goodness, you have to come visit our show. And so here we are. So thank you. And before we go, if you don't mind, if we maybe can get to know you a little bit and share with our audience a little bit about your journey leading up to now.
Okay. I mean, where do I start, right? For the course, the statement of the book itself, a lot of what came to be in the book, like not the book itself, but the practice of the book. It started when I was young, when I was in my late teens, my 19 is like 18 is when I started meditating with my friends. We'd get together, we'd smoke some weed, we'd enjoy some meditation, talking about esoteric aspects and stuff. And it was when I broke away from them, I started doing it more by myself. I was like, oh, I'm going deeper. But even taking that back further, when I was in church, when I was a kid, I wouldn't go to the like children's church. I thought that was just, hogwash. It was completely pointless. So I'd go to with my mom to, my dad wouldn't go to church, but my mom went to church, and I'd go with her to what I called the big people church. And I was a kid, and it was so insane because I was like, I could feel the energy in the room. Like during worship, I could feel that building. And I was like, oh, this is what I need. I need this connection. I need to grow this connection to this being. As I got older, I realized that all of that energy was being siphoned somewhere else. Like it was like we were raising an energy and giving it away without knowing who we were giving it to. And it's I think that's not knocking any form of organized religion. It's just when you don't know who you're working with, how do you know what you're building and where it's going? What is the purpose of this energy build? Like in ritual, we build energy for a reason, for a purpose, and you know where it's going. So it's like if you're praising someone else's likeness or whatever, what have you, how do you know what you're getting into? So I went into atheism in my teens, and then got into spiritualism when I was in my like 17, 18, 19 era. And then I started energy work. I started doing chakras. It was so crazy because I couldn't find books on it. Like I couldn't find any information. So I'm just like digging around in myself, listening to binaural beats that I could get a hold of back then, because this is the early days of YouTube. So it's like hard to get a hold of that stuff. And I was meditating like all the time, like any free time I had, I was meditating. And I opened my chakras slowly. And the first one that I really felt was my heart chakra. And I felt it ripple out like a stone thrown in the center of my chest. And I felt it expand outward. And that was the most intense feeling. I was like, oh, fuck, I found it. Pardon my language, but, I found it. Like, this is what I've been looking for. And from then on, it's just trial and error. What's funny is you never get the tools. Like you if you want to learn something, like you have to do it. Like, but when you know how to do it, for me anyways, when I already know how to do the thing, I find the information on it and I can learn deeper. But I think it's that knowing and wanting to, that willingness to learn and the willingness to put in the work that allows to open up the doors that might not be there in the first place. I might not be able to open. So that, 19 to what I'm 35 now. So I started writing this book when I was 34. I was graced by the owners by Candlelight and Conjure, who are the heads of the coven that I'm a member of. I'm an initiated witch in the Blue Sword Covenant. I'm a part of their covenant. They allowed me to, I gave them this, I was like, hey, I've never taught this stuff before. I've done healings on people. I didn't even know Reiki. Like, I'm not attuned to Reiki or anything yet. That is in the future, just for the hell of it. But I gave them this lined out paper of all of this stuff I wanted to teach. and like I've facilitated classes before. I've done all this stuff, so I knew like formats and how to work with people, and how to be a part of like a community in that aspect as the role of facilitator. So, and they're the owner of the shop, Karen's like, okay, I'll let you do this class, and it was a hit. Like almost every time we did it, it was sold out. And I was, it's funny because I wasn't even thinking about writing a book, and I was reading an OPB article about about a group in a part of Oregon that I live in, that actually is a cult, and they were using Reiki as a means to like control people into thinking that they were Christ and like all this stuff, and they were drugging people with ayahuasca, which I mean it's fine to be allegedly this is allegedly, but there were people that were like got out of it, and there's some people that went missing, even disappeared completely when they tried to leave. But the reason why I wrote the book is because that article, I read the whole thing. I read another article by them, and I was so angry. I was like so fucking mad, so angry. And I wanted to write that book because this lady said one thing when she left. She's like, I was just looking for this non-verbatim. I was looking for the spiritual aspect. Like I was looking for this thing that I thought they had, and I thought they were going to show me, and they didn't. And they just ruined my life. And that's not verbatim, but that's basically what I felt. And I was like, I got to write a book. So spent all my time that I could, despite getting pneumonia at one point, despite almost dying from pneumonia, despite like all this stuff happening, like I got this book done, and I released it.
Wow.
Yeah.
David Price says, for me, it was my crown chakra when all of the energies poured into the top of my head. Awesome. Yeah,
that's definitely a good experience. I know crown chakra is just such a amazing feeling for because you're drawing in that divine energy from far above you in the higher spheres of. But yeah, so it's amazing.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your coven? Why is it called the Blue Sword Coven? And
yeah, so Navarre created Blue Sword Coven in it's about a couple decades old. It's probably a little longer than that. I don't know exactly how long it's been around, but it's a couple decades old. And it's the Blue Sword Coven because it was started. Navarre is an ex-military, ex-police officer, and he wanted to start a coven, and there were a lot of people in the field, not just police officers, but first responders, like people in the medical field, people in firefighting. Like there's like tons of different branches that were involved, and they all came together to start the coven, and Navarre was the head of the coven. He's been practicing magic since very young. I wish I would have started that early. And he's been initiated into a lot of different things. And he started that with his first high priestess. And he's worked through several iterations of the coven, restarting it again. Now it's not a bunch of first responders, but it's a group of people that are, very dedicated to the craft. That's for sure. So.
Wow. And did he name it Blue Sword because of like his background of being
yeah, it's the first responders, because the blue sword is the sword of the first responders. So yeah, I thought everybody knew that. That's my fault for assuming.
Oh, I'm good at asking questions.
No, it's perfectly fine.
For me, Blue Sword, I first think about Archangel Michael.
That's what I think about too.
Yeah, that's there. I think there's a lot of symbolism in such a, like, you can take one small thing and find so much attached to it. And even if you don't know that that's what, like, someone could do a spell and have a symbol in it, and they're like, oh, this means this. Well, it could mean, countless other iterations of something. throughout all time, and that's all connecting and drawing back to that moment. So it's amazing.
Absolutely.
When I think of Blue Sword, I think of the Kachinas. I'm really obsessed with the Hopi Indians, and I think of the Kachinas and the blue and red Kachina. So
Okay,
That's beautiful.
how long have you been a part of the coven?
I am initiated, so I passed my year and a day. So I've been in it for almost 2 years now, close to it. So, but yeah, it's been a learning experience because I went from being solitary and having no experience, like very little experience, let's put it that way, in group work with ritual, and then it was definitely an intense change in things, and it opened my eyes to a lot of how energy flows with ritual, and how the connectedness of people, like people doing ritual together, how that changes the dynamic between everybody, like how it interlinks everybody psychically, and it's just really, really awesome.
So, and you also study a little bit of Gnosticism. Is that Gnostic religion?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm studying under a group of people. I would butcher the Latin name, so I'm not even going to try it. But it's Circle of the Dark Mother. I'm still going through the spheres, but I'm below everybody else. But I'm a part of a group of Gnostic practitioners called Circle of the Dark Mother, and that's run by Mark H. Williams, who's a Lilithan practitioner. Well, I don't know if he's Lilithan. That's a term that people use, but he's someone who does it. He's had a very broad Gnostic background as a Gnostic priest, and he got into Lilith work. And his book, when I first started getting into Lilith, when I first heard the call of Lilith, I got his book. It just happened to be at the shop. Karen had ordered it in for me, and she didn't even tell me, and I bought it immediately without her telling me. And that book like changed. It was embodying Lilith. I already knew enough for embracing. I skipped embracing Lilith, but I wouldn't suggest skipping embracing Lilith. But I went straight to the raw brass tacks of the work. So embodying Lilith was what I needed at that time. And I really enjoyed that book. And I became a part of that group, Mark's group, Circle of the Dark Mother. And on his website, there's a thing where you can go through and do the different spheres and become a member of the inner circle. And anybody can join. You just got to do the things. But it's really fun. So he's teaching us Gnostic practice, which I have a basis in Gnostic work because of my Jewish mysticism background. But I didn't think I knew a lot, but I realized I know quite a bit. But they're teaching me so much, and studying under Mark and Richard, especially because they have such a wealth of knowledge, and they're just amazing people to be around. Everybody in the group's amazing, so I'm
Awesome.
super excited about it.
Awesome. And in regards to Lilith group, is that just like a in person, or does he also offer what he teaches online, or is it just a personal space? Like
It's like they have stuff in person because there's a few of the group that are in Ohio that are all together in Ohio, but I'm not. I'm in Oregon, so I'm on the West Coast. So a lot of we're going through a book right now online. We do that once a month, and then there's like online meetings. But also he holds, I think it's a place called Witch Lab in Ohio. He holds in person like stuff there, but a lot of the stuff is online because there's people in the UK, there's people in this part of America, there's people in that part of America, like it's all over the place. So but yeah, so most of it's online, but I know he does stuff in person too, and on his website too there's a lot of stuff, and he has a YouTube page where he does a lot of stuff. So
and if you wouldn't mind, can you just tell our viewers, those who don't know Lilith, a bit about Lilith?
Yeah, my experience with Lilith, First, it happened where she came to me in a few dreams, and I was at a turning point in life, and I had some big events going on, and she basically let me know that if I did the thing that I thought I should do, I was making the wrong choice. So I didn't do it, and I immediately got a reading from Navarre. He does Black Mirror. I actually studied scrying through him. He's got a really good. He's been scrying for a very long time, and I'm obsessed with it now. I've recently turned on to the pendulum as well, so I've been scrying with the pendulum. That's fun. But he doesn't he told me this whole thing when I was doing a reading with him. He's like, you basically like you're connected to her, and she wants to work with you. So immediately dove right in, started learning. I started reading books, Asaph Mason books, Mark H. William books, Damon Barzai. I think I butchered that last name. And there's a lot of people. Donald Tyson. There's tons of people. I was just reading everything, and I just started working magic. From what I had already learned in the coven, I was just like, I'm just going to start working magic, and I just started working magic and connected really deeply with her. And she's in Circle of the Dark Mother. The aspect that we're working with is that of like a motherly, dark, maternal, almost like if you know Jewish mysticism, the Tree of Life, the spheres, the Sephiroth. She's like Bina. She's the mother aspect. Mark always says it's funny because he always talks about the fact that, and I've never heard this anywhere else. He talks about the fact that Lilith is the perfect connection for Adam Kadmon. So she's for the man or woman who is fully aware of their divinity. The shadow self is a perfect, like bringing those two together. So I just love that. That's always it's always been an amazing thing to hear from him. And he says it all the time. I'm like, every time he says it, I have like this Gnostic experience where I'm just like, oh my God, I understand it more. It's like, so working with Lilith for me, I do it from a witchcraft perspective, Kabbalistic perspective, though leaning more on like darker side, draconic perspective, because I do some draconian stuff. I'm a part of a current. Like there's, I scry with her. A lot of my work is done through scrying and meditation. So.
Mm-hmm. And when in perspective of working with Lilith, do you find, like when it comes to scrying, that it's more potent when you are working with her while you're doing the scrying?
You know, I think for anyone who's using scrying as a tool of not just divination, but to connect with their own divinity in some form, I feel like any deity that you're working heavily with, it could be Krishna, it could be Kali, it could be Lilith, it could be Mother Mary, it could be, Jesus, it could be anyone, any being that you're working with heavily, you're going to be able to connect deeper when you're using them as a vehicle to see through. So that's my approach to it. Sometimes I'll see nothing, and a person will come in and tell me, the message. It's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to see the message. I'm just going to be told it. So I'd say one part yes and one part no. You have to have the ability to get there, but if you have the connection, that just draws together the ability, and the connection just, grow even more. So.
Mm-hmm. I personally have not worked. I am familiar with Lilith. I have not worked with her yet. I've worked with other deities along my journey, so a little bit more. And I've been to Ohio a few times. I don't know where he's located at in Ohio, but the next time I go out there, maybe I'll ask where he is.
So I don't know if anybody else hears it, but you're breaking up a lot.
Me?
Yes.
I hear, but I do hear small breaks. I
Yeah.
think the headphones helps me, but uh, I think it's because I have it like right here. Makes it easier.
Well, what I will say about your book, because I just got it the other day, so I've only read the first few pages of it, and I really like the way you start this book with the first ringing of the bowl, and I just really, if you don't mind, am I speaking clearly now? Am I coming
Yes.
through clear? Okay. So I would like to read, it's just a few sentences. The first ringing of the bowl. Let this knowledge be not lost into the oblivion of time. It shall not be kept secret, though it shall be kept sacred. May we all connect deeper into the expanse of reality and further be in the awareness of all the life that glows eternally in the in the star fire of existence. Let us awaken to the dream, not from it.
Oh, I like that. That's very nice.
And like I had to read that 3 times because we are in a dream. I love the way you stated that. So and then after his first ringing of the bowl, he also has a disclaimer, which I love. I love the disclaimer. You don't sugarcoat. You're just putting it out there, stating your claim. Not taking responsibility for other people who are not responsible. So I just thought that it's good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot, and I'm excited for watching your videos. In regards to some of these techniques that you have in here, do you have plans on either teaching them or making videos about them?
Yeah. So I first of all, the book came about because I was teaching the classes in person, and then I started writing the book. I started a YouTube channel just to kind of put stuff out there. I was like, oh, I'm going to do some meditations. I'm going to do. I have a few on there. I have the awareness of the energy body. I have a few different. I can't even think right now of them. The golden light one, golden light body. There's many that are in the book. There's some that are not in the book as well. And I have also how I'm teaching them in person now. We do long sets. So when I first started teaching them, I taught the first 15 in the book, which are the awareness of the energy body and the shadow work of the energy body, which is part 1 and part 2 of the book. There's 5 parts. So I taught those in person, but now when I teach, so we take one lesson, one exercise, we'd run through it and we'd talk about it, and everybody would talk kind of like popcorn about what it felt like, how they experienced it. Now I'm to the stage where I just teach a bunch ran together in unison without break, and people really like that actually better, even though they liked it before. They like that better just because doing it in that format allows you to just move through the experience, and you're kind of rotating around. You're like, so we start with awareness, then we go into kundalini, then we expansiveness of the universe as our energy body, and then we'll bring the universe into our body, and then and we just go around, and I'll get, instead of getting like 2 to 3 or maybe 4 exercises in 2-hour period, I can get like 16.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's way more beneficial to do that. And people have, the first time we did it, someone went into a trance, didn't remember that we were even doing exercises when they came out of it. They looked dazed and they were like on their phone and they didn't even know what had just happened. They said they blacked out. Most people had actually thought it had only been about 20 minutes when it had been almost 2 hours. And so like that's what I'm doing in person. The book is like a manual so you can learn deeper. And it takes you through the steps of alchemization, basically, of your energy body, opening up your energy body, connecting it, doing the energetic shadow work, connecting it deeper to the universe, like connected to the solar system, connected to the planets, the Earth, and the universe itself. And alchemization comes before that. That's part 3. Part 5 is the like being able to transmute all of this stuff that we've learned. And so you're doing all this stuff where you're learning the process of taking what all this stuff, like it's a long list of it, like taking you in a line to an end point where at the end, and I don't suggest doing them all in one day from the book, because that might be, if you haven't practiced them, it makes it a little difficult to just call upon them immediately, which I do suggest in the book. You want to be able to get the ones that you enjoy, to be able to call upon them at any second for any reason, so that when you're doing this in a daily practice, you can actually like use this in real world practical situations, which is the whole point of learning anything, in my opinion. I'm obsessed with workflow and ability to make something that seems like, oh, this is a spiritual thing. No, it's a practical thing that we can use in our daily lives. The course kind of goes more in depth with that. I'm creating a course online right now. It's partially done. I'm working through it. I was going to try to release it sooner, but I think I'm going to take as much time as possible on it and release something far greater than even the book was in the first place, in my opinion. But it pairs. So the book has stuff that the course won't, but the course is going to have videos for every lesson, for every exercise where I'm guiding you through. There's going to be music that I create that people can download and use to practice with. And there's a lot of writing that I've been doing. It's like I wrote the book, a 313-page book, and now I'm writing it, the same thing for a website that's totally different. It's just for the course. But that will be available on my website when it launches. And if people follow me online, they can find out or just check in whenever and see when I'll make a big stink about it when it's coming into fruition, when it comes out. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all the methods I'm teaching in. Right now, my YouTube's taking a turn. I'm going in a more artistic cinematography style of like trying to evoke thought, and I want to do some more artistic videos. I have a few healings on there, but I want to do a lot of stuff and give things more time to breathe, because I was posting a lot and I noticed like things weren't breathing enough. Like there wasn't enough breathing room for everything I was posting. And not everybody has every day to sit and watch, a new YouTube video that I've posted. So I want to put way more effort in. So that's the YouTube page has stuff on it. It's going to have extra exercises too, that if I just like, what the heck, I'll put it out there. And but I'm just trying to play around with it, have fun with the drama, the ritual of YouTube. So
awesome. Now, if we can share just a little bit with the audience, because I find, you've got so much packed in here. And like you said, take what resonates, with all of these different energy exercises. But you part 2, shadow work of the energy body. Can we tell our viewers a little bit why it's important to do shadow work?
Yeah, I think, well, And I think a lot of the times people get so in their mind about what is shadow work, what could it be, and even having the uh, fight against yourself to do shadow work is shadow work itself. You know, everything. It's the physical, psychological, and spiritual aspects. I go into the book. I'm taking people through the energetic working. We're moving out all that stuck energy. That's one of them. We're cleaning it out of the Kundalini. We're cycling that out. We're doing different forms of like oh my gosh, and now we're doing different forms of like because we're doing the parasites. I keep thinking about the parasitic ones because that takes up 3 exercises, and that was really intense to teach in person. We did that one in person, and we had we were literally pulling these giant things out of some people, and it was just it was probably one of the most intense sessions that wasn't like uncomfortable. It was like people were like, whoa, like what is going on? I think the point of is not necessarily to be able to specifically like begin the action of shadow work immediately. Like that's not the point. It's to be able to clear out the energetic space that we're holding inside of ourselves that is negatively impacting ourselves, like our inner working. So if you have problems with the heart chakra, you clear out the heart chakra, you blow tar out of it or something. That's not in the book, but that I know I talk about shadow work as a whole in one of the chapters So like if we're leaking out like this dark or pussy stuff from our heart chakra in meditation, or we're pushing out this negative exoskeleton that's attached to our bodies that we're trying to get rid of. Like these are all things that are attached to us, that are a part of us, that are connected to us, that, and it's not like we're removing them. It's that we're beginning the process of dealing with the action of removing ourselves from that space that created the thing in the first place. But allowing us to energetically move that out of us allows us to, you know, kind of wipe the slate a little clean for a little bit while it builds up. And doing this daily, I did it daily for a long time, you know, but doing it daily and still having to do it daily, because I do it often. You know, I'll run through exercises in the book just for fun, you know, by myself. I'm like, let's go through it again. You know, why not? Because it's not impractical for me to use in my own work. It's not like I'm teaching something that I don't do, because it's the point of creating a system in any way is so that people will use it, and not just for anyone specifically to use it themselves. It's for the fact that the practitioner who creates it is using it. So energy work in itself, this little part of the book, this small little section of the book, allows people to begin the journey, because I say in the book that I want people to go beyond what I'm teaching. You know, I want people to take this and run with it as far as they can, because I want them to learn how to do this themselves, because I didn't have that chance when I was younger, except for the fact that I forced myself to learn it. So some people, you know, don't have the ability to like think, oh, what if I just focus like right here? What if I just focus over here? Like, what is that? What energy is that going to bring about? What am I going to do? And it's like, I'm taking what took me many years to learn. I'm taking that and I condensed like that into an ability to like just move through it. I mean, if people have the time to go through each exercise, it could take, you know, if you do one a day, that's 36 days. But it's not like that's going to be 36 years, or that's going to be, you know, it's not going to be the mess of time that, and it's going, and the main reason why I taught the book the way it originally, just to say, originally I was going to make 100 exercises.
Oh,
and
wow.
When I got to 34, I was writing more, and I had like 40 or 50 exercises written down for the book. I'm like, if I do the full 100, this book is going to be 900 pages. Nobody's going to want to read it. So I was like, no, I'll put this here and I'll teach more later. Like I'll give people the tools they need to start the work. And I'm even going deeper in the book than I did in the in-person classes. But the nice thing about in-person is you get the one-on-one, you get the call and response, you get the talking, the feedback from everybody else, because sometimes in a class, one person would say one thing, and someone on the other side's like, oh, that makes sense now. Like, I understand what we're doing. And then all of a sudden they have full actualization of that ability to do the thing. So it's definitely interesting. But on the point of energy work, why I teach the importance of the shadow work there is because you get the awareness. Now you need to work on you need to immediately, it's like you throw someone completely into divinity, and they've got a lot of stuff that's weighing them down. They've got a lot of shadow in there. You gotta immediately start working on that stuff. You gotta start getting that stuff out, because it's going to negatively impact your experience in life if you're not dealing with it. I mean, anybody can choose not to do shadow work. Thing is, shadow work it's always going to be there, and it's going to be chasing you down with a hatchet, trying to get you. So it's like, and it's a masked invader. So you don't know who it is, but when you realize you talk to that masked invader, they take the mask off. Oh, it's you. It's been you all along.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I notice when you are like a little bit off subject here of the book and everything, because I have this curiosity. I noticed that you are sitting in a copper pyramid. Can you talk about that?
Oh, so yeah,
I love copper pyramids. I'm going to make one.
Yeah. In the pictures I sent you, those are actually from the course. Those are pictures from the videos of the course. So that copper pyramid, there are two of them at the shop by Candlelight and Conjure. There are two of those. They have a giant one, and they have that one. That one's by the Isis altar, Isis Bast, and I don't think there's another altar there, but because by Candlelight and Conjure is a community center, so you can go there and just meditate. They have a Kuan Yin room, which I go in and do dragon meditations all the time with Kuan Yin. So because they offer Reiki, they offer readings, there's tons of stuff. They have full occult library. It's quite amazing there. But they have this giant, like the copper pyramid in there is like huge. Like it would take up a lot of space in here. So that one, I didn't film under that one because I'm like, I'm not going to get the whole thing in the shot. But the smaller one, which is still pretty big, you can just meditate under it. And they're I forget what they're called. The ones that have the thing on the top, oh my gosh, it's like a crystal that goes with the copper pyramid.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the ones they have, and meditating under those is so amazing. And I was like, if I filmed the class stuff in that pyramid, it's going to be such an amazing experience to like do that, because I meditate in there all the time. The nice thing about the big one is when I rent the shop for rituals sometimes, and I rented the shop and did a Lilith ritual in one of those. So I had my tools on the ground, I was sitting there, and I'm doing this ritual. And it was an amazing experience. That there was a lot of energy. I was doing a Kona power round, like dancing around and like singing and chanting. And then I go in there, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this, like all hyped up. And it was really awesome. Those things are amazing. I cannot speak to how amazing those are. You can make them too. You can make them pretty easily, but it's still they're so worth it to have. I want one. One day when I have my full temple, my giant, a giant temple I'm going to have one of those in there. So
I have plans of making one for myself. And I know that copper is a super good conductor of the energy. And I've also seen people take copper, which again is off subject, but take copper and twist it into little things and place it in their garden, and the vegetables grow better with the copper in there. So it's a really good conductor.
this is random. It's so funny we're talking about this. There was this guy, I just happened to be at the shop one day, meeting with Karen, talking to her about something. And this guy happened to be there who makes crystal wands out of copper. And I happened to have a thing of like a big quartz crystal on me. And he's like, I'll make it for $10. And he wrapped around. I use it. I've healed people with it. I've done healings on people with it. And I love that thing. And it's the copper intensifies the crystals so much more. And that goes into the idea of crystals. I know a lot of people, there's some people that are all for them and some people that are like, oh, crystals are, that's love and light stuff. No, crystals are extremely potent in doing energy work. I mean, loading energy in or even just using it for healing. I know people sell Reiki crystals online. And I've seen YouTube videos where people are like, oh, they're selling crystals online for this insane amount. No, it's literally legit. Like if people are empowering those crystals, that is potent. And if you know how to do it yourself, it's just, it's so good. You just put that intention in there and that energy. So it's the same way with the copper pyramid too, because it's you're putting, and you have to erect it in a space. You have to prepare that space for it, and you have to like really get like the intention set in the room. And then when you're using that for healings, inner work, meditations, what have you, ritual, it is paramount to the experience. It is so beneficial. I highly suggest it for sure.
Yeah.
One day I want one.
I have plans to build one.
I was going to say, so I got myself a little toy for the summer solstice when I did grid work. And this is a tensor rod wand. And
oh, that's beautiful.
That's so cool.
It came from a gentleman across the seas. I want to say this came from the United Kingdom. And so it, again, tensor, which is the circle. And there's something, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to tools with copper, there's something about like the dimensions and the circumference and mathematics and all that good stuff. But like you said, Yamin, it just brings a different level. And when I meditate with this, I can either meditate with it or charge my objects with it, because it's got the quartz crystal at the end, but it definitely amplifies the energy. So like you said, it's paramount. It's huge.
What's interesting about it, that design specifically, just to state, is it looks like the Rosy Cross. Is very similar to the Rosy Cross of like in Golden Dawn practice and stuff. It has the same similar shapes to how the Rosy Cross is. It's very interesting.
I love that piece. I used to wear a copper bracelet around my wrist, and it used to really help. And I was thinking about it the other day that I need to get another copper bracelet. But David Price says, I have a piece of copper pipe in my water bottle, and it helps me with my arthritic wrists. The jabs of pain are gone. Yeah, I didn't think about putting it in your water bottle, and that would make sense too, because a lot of pipes are copper pipes that we drink water out of.
I've heard of people also using magnets to empower.
Yeah.
Them.
Yeah. I've heard that too. But now I do stained glass, and I use a lot of, we use copper foil, but we also use the copper electrical wire. And I thought about taking some of that and making some symbols out of it and putting it in the garden and stuff, and see how that works too.
Empower the earth with your sigil magic of copper.
Yes. Maybe even put some glass in it too, because glass is nothing but liquid crystal. So.
And then, putting us inside of a pyramid, that would be awesome. And Raven, when you start to create yours, please let me know, because that would be like one of those like maybe we could do a
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about having the top of it so that it would come down, just a small top to it, and then be able to fit the copper pipe up into the top, those pieces. So if I wanted to go someplace and I wanted to use it, say I was going on a hike or whatever, and I wanted to sit in nature and meditate, then I could take it and put it together. So that's been my plan. And my thing is how to make the top of it. Once I get the top figured out, the rest of it will come. So, yeah.
I didn't even think about putting one of those in nature. That'd be so awesome.
Wouldn't it?
Or even like have if you could ask the tree, and affix it to the tree so the tree is a part of the copper pyramid. So it's like, I wonder how that would go, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You could even create a ring around it with copper wire so that it holds the copper in place. So it, the tree is part. I don't know. I just thought of that. I just saw that in my mind. I was like, I got to share that. That's cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
We're creating. I could see it in my mind's eye. All right, now let's get our tools.
Yeah, let's go outside and set one of these up. Hit the Home Depot, get some copper.
That's my idea for sure. And I love the idea of traveling with it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first one to go to the forest with my hair.
Yes. Absolutely. Because, I mean, why just have it in one place? Why not be able to take it with you and, use it wherever you'd like to use it? And
I know that the big one at the shop gets taken down and put up a lot because they have a lot of classes there. If there's a class small enough that they can leave it up, they'll leave it up. But the thing that's nice about it is they've taken it gets to the point where you've taken apart so much you have to get a new part. You have to get new parts but their original one, the first one, the big one, they took it apart so many times before they had to get replacement parts. So it's like it's perfectly fine, and if you treat it well, it's gonna last. Those things are great. I think that big one, they've had that for probably like 3 years, maybe even longer than that, 4 years, like maybe even before COVID. I don't remember.
And in regards to when you meditate, you feel a difference versus like just meditating at home versus in the pyramid?
Yeah, no, in the pyramid, there is a total shift. The thing that I've noticed, like with any tool, you have to get accustomed to the tool. You have to know how to use the tool. For me, I'm usually drawing up Kundalini energy out into the top of the pyramid, and then I'm putting it outside of the pyramid. So the purpose of the pyramid is to amplify, of course, but you have to know how do you use the copper, and it's different for everybody. Everybody's experiences, the way they're going to use it's going to be different. Some people might be drawing it up through the copper pipes on the bottom from the earth up. There's multitudes of ways. I know I've drawn down energy from through the top of it too into my Kundalini and into my chakra system, my meridians from it too. And if they're big enough to stand in, that's awesome too. If you can stand up and not like be slamming your head on the top of it, that's really nice. Especially if it rests like perfectly, like right above your head or right on your head.
Well, and I think with making the top one piece and being able to fit the pipe in to those pieces, then you can make it any size you want at any point that you want. Like you could have shorter ones for, say, going out in nature and sitting underneath, and maybe you could have another one for standing under, you know.
Make the connectors having different sizes. It's very
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome. Now I want to go to class. I want to go.
Right.
Yes. Yes. And you know, for our viewers out there, in regards to his table of contents, like you said, Yamin, you've got all these different exercises, and I just want to read a few, just so those who are listening now or in the future, you know, just get an idea of, you know, because those who are not familiar with energy work might just be like, ah, what's, you know, and it's okay to expand and get to know yourself, because we are all energetic beings. And sometimes people are programmed to not look outside of what they know because they think they should not. But it's okay, because
Yeah.
the energy work is, we are energy, our bodies are energy. And so I just, like I said, I love like all these options, and I can't wait to like get into the thick of this, because like I said, I didn't even get like to the introduction yet. Yeah, your introduction doesn't start till page 14. But so in part 1, the awareness of the energy body, he has 7 different, are these techniques, would you say, Yamin?
They're exercises. You can interchangeably technique, exercise, working.
Okay. The torus energy work, which is our toroidal field. That's that sphere that is our energetic body.
Feel it's around us. Yeah.
Mhm. And powering up the energy body. Mhm. Energy kundalini shadow work. So I'm just going to guess on this one. Teaching about the kundalini energy and how to clear the distortions through it.
Yes. So before the exercises start, before part 1 starts, I teach how to open the Kundalini, and then for multiple exercises later in the book. But the Kundalini exercise is the one I was talking about, drawing up the energy from like a deep within, where you're clearing out the stuck space below the Kundalini. That everybody's got these caverns of energy, that just stuck energy that needs to come out. So that's what that exercise is.
Okay. And when we're talking about energy here, and like you said, it's stuck, right? So what you're doing is you're giving techniques and ways so that we could take our own responsibility for our own energy bodies and clear them ourselves and learn how to work with them ourselves. Sometimes people will feel like, oh, I have a block in my heart chakra, or I have a block in my throat chakra. I need a Reiki set. And which I will say, because Raven and I are Reiki masters, by all means, we love to facilitate and hold space for those. But it is very empowering when you can learn how to work
Right.
with, because who would know better than yourself about your own body and how you feel in it? And so, anyway.
Well, there's a chapter where I talk. It's titled "Healing is a Personal Experience," and the use of healing. The reason why I taught the book in the way I did is to not just bring about awareness or bring about changing yourself. It's to give you the tools to be like, okay, like now I know how to activate this part of me. How can I do that for someone that may not know how to do that? And you're teaching yourself so you can do it for others. I learned this stuff so that I could teach it to people in this format, which shout out to Mark H. Williams. His book showed me how to write my exercises, because I knew how to say them. I didn't know how to write them. And so in the format of the book, that's how I wrote them. And his books are just paramount in my experience of being able to write my exercises out properly, the meditations. But what we're doing is in this work, what we're doing is we are learning how to clear this in ourselves so we can better clear it. So I've taught people who are Reiki masters, Reiki 2, people who are Reiki certified, and they're using this stuff in their own work. This is not a system that I'm not teaching people the same system that has come around before. And it's not really, it's an evolution in the way that it's functioning. But the purpose of it is not to be against, or like a lot of people will be like, oh, the right hand path, left hand path. No, they're the middle pillar. It's like all these things. They're all inner working. They're all coming together so that they can function as a full unit. Like in the Jewish belief, like in the expanse of God, the expanse of everything is God. So we are all the oneness of God, and in the beginning, it all comes down, like everything comes into being because God thought, and God allowed, so everything allowed itself to come into existence. So we are all that. Every lesson, every experience, every connection that we have here, there, anywhere, we are all connected in that aspect. So nothing is apart from itself. So the point of why I was like, oh, this is an effective way to teach this, because people who know how to use Reiki, how to do healing on people, shamanic, or other forms anywhere, they can take this and be like, oh, so this point right here, like if it's like, oh, this point right here, how do we unblock? There's this energy in here. How do we move this out? And it's not just applying pressure. It's not just, you're actually like, it's almost like a siphon in how I do things. You're like like say there's a blockage there and you're siphoning out the energy. Instead of, I know a lot of times people will move the Reiki energy through people and move things, manipulate the internal space, when we can actually be the intermediate, while Reiki is an intermediary between the divine and the healed. The healer is the medium, the tool in which the pathway is moving. We don't have to function in that. We can know Reiki and still function beyond that, where we are the active tool ourselves, and the energy itself is the medium in which we are healing that space. If that makes sense. I've never had to explain it before, but that's that's the way I explain like the functionality of this is not, I'm my Navarre and Karen are both Reiki masters, and they're going to be initiating some people in up to Reiki 2 pretty soon here, and I'm gonna go through that process because I want it. I want the experience. I'm a junkie for this stuff. I love I love energy work. I love all this, but the main message and all that is we're not functioning. Nothing is functioning apart. It's all. We are allowing ourselves to. So in the phrase of "as above, so below," what is above is below. What is below is above. Everything is interwoven. So we are allowing ourselves to almost in a way conjure into us our own divinity. So we're not the way I teach energy work isn't, we're not drawing upon it from anywhere else. We're becoming aware of our own energy. We're becoming aware of our own godhood. Not necessarily that we are God, but that our godhood, our connectedness to that source, because we're all a part of it. We're all, no one is not a part of it. We're all divinity. And whether that be like going back with the shadow work, whether that be us running down the street away from our shadow self who's got the mask on and the butcher knife chasing us down the street, and whether that be the case, or we're sitting by a waterfall not worried about how fast our Bugatti goes, and not even caring about the connection between financial situation. Buddhist monks, I'm saying that because of a Buddhist monk meme, but our connection between this here, the connection between here and there is not necessarily the way our mind plays it out to be, I guess. but our interconnectedness is the key, and our energy itself allows us. There's actually a working in the book where it's the macro in the micro. So we are allowing ourselves to realize, oh, I am this small speck in the space of existence. But when you get into the working, you're webbing out and you're like, oh, but we're all a part of this larger, massive connected piece. And it's like, and then I write in the exercise, and when I do in the course where I have the video, I want people to get lost. I don't want people to remember which speck they were or where they moved. I want them to be like, oh no, we're the whole of this. We're fully connected. We are everything.
Mm. Wow.
Awesome. I like that. We are all connected and we are all one. And so now we come to the point in the show where we ask all of our guests the same question. What message would you like to leave our audience with?
Oh man, that I have nothing prepared, but it's interesting because I think the message is not from my own self. It's not for any one reason. It's the fact that I want people to explore. Doesn't matter what direction you go, explore it. Follow it to the end. Explore as far as you can and see as much of it as possible, because you don't know when you are ever going to get the chance to do that again. You may die and like never get to experience the full totality of what you could experience. It's I want people to, it's like you run as fast as you can and take in as much as possible, because you never know what's going to happen. And the gratitude I have in realizing that myself allowed me to fully like dive into the work that I've been doing. And I just want, that's the message I have. Just explore it all. Wherever you're going, explore it and enjoy every moment of it.
Awesome. And when you get your courses together online, we have to have you back on the show so that you can talk about that as well.
I definitely love that. I loved this. This was amazing. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
We love having you. We think you're pretty amazing. I love the message that you have, and I love the message that you give. And I love that you're doing all of this energy work is my thing. I love energy work too. So, yeah, you definitely have to come back on.
I'd love to.
Thank you.
Lisa, anything final that you would like to say?
Speechless.
Wow. Okay.
For one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you usually have so many profound things to say. So,
but I like what been left for. So I love how he left us with that, and live life every day to your full. Live life with joy and gratitude, because it is a gift. Life is sacred, and I am grateful for this journey and all of my beautiful soul family that is here with me in this, monumental time on earth. So thank you.
And we are grateful for our audience too. Do we know what our next show is?
I don't remember her name. 8
Okay.
Friday, August 8th. Potent, powerful energies.
Awesome.
I'm sure the goddess that is visiting us is probably like a Lyran, priestess or something from a different star connection. So.
There you go. All righty. So I guess we'll see you in a fortnight.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for watching the show. We hope you have enjoyed watching Soulfire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Lovelight. You can also watch Soulfire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble at Soulfire Ascension, or listen to us on Spotify. Please like, share, and subscribe. Soulfire Ascension is sponsored by RavensHealingArts.com.